Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. I am here to share another week of energy updates and trance-channeling guidance. It's been an interesting week. Definitely some new adjustments and moving into our new location and working through a few things and getting situated. I hope that your week has been good and maybe shared some fun new awarenesses with you. I know last week I talked a lot about going with the flow and a relaxation or trusting in your own individual timing. And I would be curious to hear how that sort of came up for you last week. Now, if this is your first time stumbling upon me, hello, so glad you found me. My name is Cassandra Deanne. I am a certified galactic astrologer and a galactic channeler. So in these videos, I like to share a little bit first about what is going on collectively with the energy. And then the second portion of the video, I tune into trance channeling. So this is something that is been fairly new, but has been exciting and very potent to those who have been able to share one-on-one sessions with me. And I don't know, it lights up my inner child, I guess. It's kind of exciting and fun. So not something I expected, but here I am. And like so many others that are stepping into unique expressions and new gifts, I feel like we're all kind of playing with this new energy of where we're going and finding out what really lights us up. And so it's exciting times. So that said, I want to share just a little bit about where collectively we are with the energy. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm also certified in Human Design. And I don't know, I've always had sort of like a personal passion or love for the I Ching and Human Design. So I like to talk about the gates. So while I do add this to my videos, I always like to encourage you. If you do not know anything about Human Design, that is okay. If you wish to research more on your own because you are familiar, I'm going to be talking about Gate 39, provocation. And so we're going to look at this and how it is influencing our energy this week. Now, usually I don't add too much language, but I am going to lightly touch on a additional layer, if you are familiar with astrology, of how you can use this information. So every week when I share this energy, we can look at it and notice where this energy is within our own chart. So for example, this gate of provocation, which is 39, I'm going to be talking about, we're going to be in this energy for about a week. And when you're looking at your astrology chart, you can look at where this energy falls. This is in Cancer. So when you look at your natal astrology chart, based on what house in astrology this falls in, this will give you information on where this energy is influencing you in your life. So let's talk a little bit more about the energy. And then at the end, I'll give you an example in my own chart where this is. So when we're talking about this energy, what it's saying is collectively, we will all be spending time and reflecting on how we are engaging in forms with others. This is a very provoking energy. Now, in its highest expression, it's an energy that is designed to provoke someone towards spirit, provoke someone towards some sort of aha moment or newness or awareness. And so when we're talking about this energy, we're looking at it as you may be someone in the next week that as you are speaking or sharing, you may find that you're provoking either excitement or joy in someone. You may be sharing a story about something you're passionate about and you're so excited and where you're going, and you're just so magnetic in your expression that those that are in your aura are like, man, I'm excited. Like, this is so exciting. I want to experience this too, or it can also be provoking an energy that brings awareness towards things that needs adjustments. So it could be you may be saying something and it might feel a little pokey to the people around you, and you may not intend for it to be, but it may feel that way to them because it's encouraging reflection on perhaps areas of their own limitation in their life, or their own disbelief or doubt or fear. And so this energy is playing with others. So I would say with this, be mindful this week of your interactions and engagements, your communications with others. What does that look like? When you're around people, are you noticing how their energy shifts? Are they feeling lit up? Are they feeling prompted to look deeper? So this is the energy we're feeling. Now, as I mentioned, we can look at astrology and see what house this energy is to be able to understand or adjust this. Now, this placement is connected to the sun, and the sun is currently in this energy of Cancer. So we're having this energy that is, depending on where Cancer this falls in your chart. For me, this is towards my 10th house. So this would mean that when it comes to me showing up, I can look at how authentic am I showing up. In showing up, how am I provoking energies in others? Is it causing shifts in awareness? Is it causing enthusiasm towards what's possible? This reflection of understanding in this time, especially, I'm being asked to connect to God, source, universe, and trusting and allowing. And as I'm authentically showing up and moving forward, that then in response, others will feel something, whatever is as intended, that they're meant to, towards whatever is being channeled through me or shared through me. So the other end of this, on the, you could say, challenging side or shadow side of this, could be wanting to repress your emotion, repress your expression, a feeling of, despite what is you're going through, to show up. And, people could say, Cassandra, how are you feeling? I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. And when I do that, no matter what the intention behind it is, it could be, one, I'm trying to look put together because of whatever dialogues I tell myself that adds pressure to that. It could be, two, I feel like I don't want to be an inconvenience or a bother on those around me, a feeling like, well, everybody else has their own things they're going through. I can't express myself. It can be feeling, a number of different things. But the truth is that if we repress emotions in this way, that we're not inviting the possible channeled or lined interactions that are there to inspire growth and change. For example, for those who have watched my story and I've talked about my move, this has been a journey. It's been a journey for me. And like many things, it is a unfolding. And sometimes life unfolds at a pace that isn't what we would prefer it to unfold. So for circumstances when those close to me may say, how are you? Hey, Cassandra, how are you? I could say, I'm fine. or I could say, you know what? It's been a journey. It has been stretching me. It is requiring a new level of trust and surrender in forms I've not experienced in my life before. But I'm also celebrating, the good things that are coming to me, all the ways in which I'm feeling aligned in my circumstance, despite what it appears externally, despite what I'm hearing externally, despite what the world looks like externally. But I'm showing up, I'm being present, I'm following my intuition, and I'm trusting. And it is a stretch, but I know this journey is strengthening me. Okay, well, that offers a whole lot more engagement than just being, I'm fine, and reserving or shutting down. So, in that, I may feel guided to share that with someone. And maybe the person that I'm sharing it with has been going through a really hard time and they feel very alone and they feel unclear about where they're going, or they're trying to hold on to trust and faith, but they're like, man, this is hard. Maybe hearing someone say, I'm right there with you, I'm walking this with you, I'm feeling these things too, but we've got this. I think we got this. It's hard, but we're showing up. We should high five, give each other a high five for showing up and trying. It just then can be an energy that then moves on to influence that person in one way or another, for I don't know, the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of their life. Who knows? So this energy is allowing of trusting. Now, that said, this isn't saying, because the key part is here remembering it's provoking towards spirit. So it's also understanding that this energy isn't intended to be completely, if you're, how do I describe this? I'm not going to attach labels to right or wrongs, because yes, there are ways we each individually know when we are aligned and when we are misaligned. We know one person externally is meant to be something we consistently unload onto. So that would be something else to be mindful of. Are you depending on another person in which you unload on for some point or another? That is not what this energy is about. It is an aligned expression to allow that understanding as we are on this planet, we're in this experience, we are here to interact and engage. And sometimes we might not know the purpose, but there is a purpose. So when we're talking about this, the shadow on the repressed side would be repressing the emotion. Now, if, as I just sort of kind of explained, the reactive side would be projecting onto another, constantly projecting your anger or your dissatisfaction onto another. That is misaligned. So when we're looking at the astrology chart, this for me is in the 10th house. So this is how I'm seen in the public. This is my career, my highest expression of self, the legacy I want to leave. So this says for the next week, how am I authentically showing up? Am I being sincere? Am I trying to appear as if everything is fine? Am I being honest? Or am I losing myself or not working or not wanting to be seen, because I don't feel a certain way? Or am I showing up in my enthusiasm and it's inspiring others that says, wow, I might not be there yet, referring to myself, but I can see both the balance of the positive and the challenge. And I can weigh that and I can see my way through, how am I using that energy? So this is what I'm referring to. Perhaps if you have this in the area of home, your fourth house, this could be around themes of, if you're in alignment, your energy could help others feel safe in your presence, in your environment, feels like home. They feel safe to open up, and you exchange beautiful conversations which provoke a sense of safety in sharing and shifting and growing. If it's in the ninth house, this is about higher knowing, higher education, higher philosophies, higher beliefs. So if this energy this week would be in your ninth house, how is your higher wisdom in alignment to that, provoking spirit and change in others? Is it helping them? Are you sharing your knowledge, or are you repressing it? Are you, pulling yourself back? Are you diluting your enthusiasm? Sometimes that can be hard to balance those things. So this is why I think that this information is helpful, because we can say, generally speaking, yes, it is Cancer season, and play into energies of that intuition, home, nurturing, home sort of safety topics, feminine expression. We can look at that in general, but we can also look at this energy through the lens of this provocation and say, how can you embody the energy that is that, maybe the wise crone that knows, that has that holding ability to speak the truth even when it doesn't feel comfortable, but it's provoking towards spirit. It's provoking towards change. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop on that, but that's what I felt inclined to share today. So while I'm shifting gears now to go into trance channeling, I just want to take a moment to say it's been interesting in listening to the information through channeling that's been coming through. And it's been especially interesting to see how many people are going through such significant shifts in their life. And I want to take a moment to say that I do feel this is a time in which we all are being stretched. I recorded a video recently where I've heard it said to me a few times that, yes, I know the things, but also we live on this world. We live in this 3D reality. There's, we have to, obviously that's where we are. And in channeled guidance, what came through from the guides was saying, yes, but also it takes people who are willing to say, I know this isn't the norm, and I know you can say I'm in this 3D reality, but at the same time, it takes the individuals willing to take the first steps, willing to step outside of what's comfortable, to begin to shift the energy into a different frequency. So yes, we can always say, yes, these are our structures, these are our, programs, our culture, our government, whatever it may be for you, these are the laws we abide by, these are the rules, this is how this 3D reality works. But the guidance that came through is said, okay, well, then you're going to continue to rope in that reality. And as long as enough people continue to rope in and tether to that reality, things aren't going to shift. So I understand that it is hard to be in a position where you're being invited to be stretched, to be going beyond what externally people may look and say, you're crazy, or that's unusual, or that can't happen. That is not in the realm of possibility. Whatever it is, all of these shifts people are going, it's working, I think. Okay, so I'm back. That was fun. In the new location, we've been working through internet and new adjustments, and it's interesting because I was just telling my partner how I have had a lot of fear or anxiety around internet problems with doing this sort of work. And I know things are being adjusted, and I feel like I'm also sort of being tested a little bit on that fear, realizing that things happen and the world goes on. So that said, I don't know exactly where I was, but that's okay because I feel like it's time to move on. So I'm going to go ahead and go into trance-channeling. But I have started offering packages that are helping people navigate these shifts. I'm noticing I started doing it because I noticed there is a lot of readjustment and I wanted to be able to provide more support. So also, I am actually offering, if you book, fairly soon, in the next couple weeks, a package with me. I am offering a free, a bonus, I'd say, one-on-one trance channeling session with me. If you so choose to have that experience, it is pretty powerful. Everybody that has been on the other end of this has told me it's so surprising how intensely connected this energy feels. Yesterday, in one of my sessions, it was said that it was one of the most understood, connected, and held sort of frequency this individual has ever felt. And that was just coming from not even what was said, just the energy frequency of how it deeply, deeply impacted this individual. So if you are interested, I'll leave the link for the package and also leave the link for booking a trance channeling session one-on-one with me, where the energy comes through specifically for you and what it is that is relevant for you, what you need personally to have that shift and that you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start grounding. I would say, as usual, I invite you to take a moment if you can. Close your eyes, take a breath. As I've said, the more you can be present and tune into this energy, you may be able to feel the intensity, the feeling, the exchange that takes place with whatever high frequency energies come through. It may take me a couple minutes to trance channel or connect to the channel. My consciousness is fairly removed, so at the end, I'll simply say my goodbyes. So I invite you to close your eyes with me and take a couple minutes. Rest into your body. In this day, I come to you, the energy in which is best identified as the archetype of that of Thoth. I am a high frequency that is here to assist in opening your eyes. I wish to speak today to you of energy, of worlds unknown, unseen. They are all around you. They are tied to you in forms and ways beyond your comfort and your comprehension. You assume what you see is what is. We would say that also there are those who assume equally of what is unseen through spiritual practices, through beliefs that are shared among you. We, as the energy of Thoth, would say this is unnecessary in many ways, overcomplicated. There is a time in which that which has been complicated will be simple, will be seen, will be felt, will be lived. There are limited steps in reaching, obtaining the desired results you wish to live. Your species, we would suggest, overcomplicates this process. At any given moment, the simplicity of connection to the self is much. That is all that is required. For you do not recognize your power, your essence. You forget that you are, as we have said, connected to these realms, to these worlds. They are not outside of you. They are not to be mastered or achieved through complication. They are simply a remembering of what is for the purpose of your expression and experience as your soul so desired to participate. It is easy to feel as if there are requirements, secret, hidden knowledge. We would say it is not as hidden as you would think. You simply do not look. And if you look outside of your own divinity. Why do we speak of this? Because there are those among you who are indeed asking the higher being, the higher self, the appropriate questions. Therefore, these beings then are unlocking what has been presumed to be secret or hidden. As this continues, there will be more that is unfamiliar and to many uncomfortable. And that is fine. It is of each individual's choosing of what reality and allowance of their experience they wish to participate. Our goal in this conversation is a remembering that you are connected and more aware than you often acknowledge. You seek beyond. You feel it is out of reach. You look to others. You must find the secret formula. It is much more accessible. You make it harder than it needs to be. We understand the existence on this planet is layered. And there are many emotions, feelings, limitations you have chosen to adopt. These prevent you from seeing the simplicity. We invite you to return to your higher knowing. Whenever circumstances feel complicated, we would say, simplify them, simplify your environment, simplify your distractions. The more complicated you make your life, the further you are from the simplicity and the truth of your power, your ability to experience, to live, to be as you so desire to be. This is, yes, a time of much confusion. This, we would say, rather affirms what we say. If it is complicated, simplify it. Simplify your life. Simplify your time. When you remove the limitations and distractions, you may find the answer was there for you all along. This is our guidance in how we would suggest, gently and directly yet lovingly, to navigate where your life is headed. And with this, we feel we have shared what was intended for you in this moment. Simplify your life. we say farewell. Okay, well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. Oh, that was an intense energy. Have a beautiful week.